Hey, beautiful Scorpio. Welcome to your tarot and oracle card reading for October 2025. Today we're going to do a path reading to see what's coming in for you, what you can expect to see in October, and then what challenges you may face, what gifts and blessings you might receive, and get some advice from Spirit, and then we'll pull some oracle cards. Now, before we get into your reading, just a few reminders. This reading is for your sun, moon, and rising sign. Some months you'll resonate more with one than the other. I usually resonate with my rising sign, but some months my sun sign or my moon sign really speak to me, so I recommend you watch all three for a full picture. And while I say this reading is for October 2025, timing is divine, and so are you. So if you do find this outside of time, there's probably a message in here for you, and I encourage you to watch. Now, I'm trying to grow my channel, so I appreciate if you get value here to like and subscribe. That'll help others find my videos as well. I'm using the Trick or Treat Tarot because it is October, and I will use some Halloween and Samhain themed oracle decks as well. Those will be in the description below. I've cleared your space. And now let's get into the reading. God, Spirit, Universe, please bring truth, clarity, and wisdom to this reading for the Scorpio family and help Scorpio navigate to their highest and most blessed timeline. Thank you, Spirit. All right, Scorpio. And I want to mention that on the 6th of October, we're having a full moon in Aries. So this will affect your 8th house. And that's your natural house, beautiful Scorpio. So what this means is for you, this is deep inner alchemy. Like this is a really super deep month for you. This is huge changes because full moons brings things to fruition or to a culmination or sheds a light on the energy for you of the 8th house, which is death, transformation, shared resources, and taboos, and real inner, like I said, alchemy. So we'll see if the cards address that, but I'm feeling that for everybody right now. So, all right, you start with the 5 of Cups and 8 of Swords. So this is real challenging energy. Now, you end with some really good cups, but with some really good cards. But you start with some challenges that you need to process, right? The 8 of Swords is like self-imposed limitations. This could be fear. This could be the need to take off the mask, to unwrap the bandages from yourself as this mummy, and to speak your authentic truth. You have that blue hat, which is your throat chakra, aligned with your crown, like show who you are. And the 5 of Cups, this is like changing how you feel about something. And the 5s, it's always a change, In the 5s, we tend to get lost, because we're as far as can be from the source, which is 0, and returning to the source, which is 10, And so it gets real dark in the 5s. And so this is your emotional body that's feeling a little bit lost. And we always in the 5s make an adjustment or a change. And with the 8 of Swords, we have to make an adjustment or a change to figure out the puzzle. To figure out the puzzle of freeing ourselves from the blindfold and the swords that surround us, from the thoughts that haunt us or the thoughts that plague us as we move forward. So this is going to be different for each one of you. You know what this is, what the self-imposed limitation is, and what the disappointment could be for the 5 of Cups. Because here you're looking at 3 spilt cups. You have 2 cups behind you, right? And 2 of Cups, which is really what those 2 cups are behind you, is alignment with your true higher self. So this is like being in disalignment, and all you have to do is turn around and see the other side, or to forgive the situation, or to forgive yourself, or just to release something. And in this case, for a lot of you, it's to release yourself from something, and you will have to do that fairly early on in the month. And I wouldn't be surprised if that full moon has a lot to do with it. And then you go to the 10 of Cups, which is all of your hopes, wishes, and dreams coming true, right? The Page of Cups, which is the start of a new love or butterflies in the tummy about something. It's embodying the spirit of emotional fulfillment. And the King of Wands, mastering your energy, mastering your body, mastering your passions, being a master on some level as well, taking your life back and becoming a sovereign again, I want to say. I feel like with starting with the Five of Cups, you may have forgotten who you are, beautiful Scorpio. And we do that, don't we? At times, we just forget who we are. And this is like literally spells out the story of remembering who you are, And I see that because we have this beautiful Dorothy and all of her friends, the characters in the Wizard of Oz here. They're on a mission to gain what they need, right? Gain the courage of your heart or gain the brain, all that, right? So like you're on a mission to find your own truth, your own fullness, I want to say, So that's big. That's beautiful. That is an energy that you may or may not succeed in doing. You have to do the work, right? We have your advice cards here, but just remember, this is an opportunity for you to really, really step up and to ascend to a higher level, Scorpio. Scorpio, you are transformation. You start out the sign of Scorpio as like a lobster or a crustacean, and then you turn into like an eagle, and then you turn into the phoenix, right? So the whole energy behind Scorpio is death, change, and transformation. And I feel like this month is almost like that whole energy encapsulated into 1 month. It's wild. And then in your challenges, you have 2 knights. You have the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Pentacles is things going slowly and methodically. It's planting seeds, understanding that it's going to take a while for them to grow. And it's staying grounded, walking barefoot instead of on your horse. And the Knight of Swords is real fast action. It's bold action. It's certain. It's self-assured. And it's anything but grounded. It's flying through the air. So this could be a call to either, this is a challenge to stay balanced, to balance your earth element, which is your grounded element, and your swords element, your mental body, right? A challenge to balance it, but also this could be a challenge to know when to go and when to stop. Pay attention. Watch for the green lights and the red lights. And the yellow lights. Be mindful as you move forward. Beautiful Scorpio. All right. And then your blessings are 7 of Pentacles. So this is like an early harvest, but it's like just a partial harvest. You are going to, in your blessing position, this is what I'm seeing, you're going to reap a little mini harvest. And that's going to give you what you need to continue on. That's going to give you the fuel that you need, or the investment that you need to feed the machine in some way, which is very, very good. And then you have Hierophant. So this is your connection to spirit, your gods, guides, and guides, your higher self, your angels, your ancestors, all the things, right? This is the bridge to that too, right? So you could just be naturally attuned to these things this month, and I wouldn't be surprised, beautiful Scorpio, not at all. But also, I feel like the Hierophant sometimes is a message that we don't need another to bridge that gap for us, So we are being called to step up as our own leaders and the leaders of others. So other people may be coming to you for that guidance, that in some way could be a blessing for you. You may stop going to someone else for that guidance and connection. That could be a blessing for you. I just feel like with the 5 of Cups, I talked about the 5s being kind of lost and in the middle and needing to make an adjustment because you're so far from the ace and the 10, right? Well, the Hierophant is the 5 of the major arcana. Like that's the big 5, right? So this is where we really get lost, and we need to, in this case, a lot of times with the Hierophant, it's called the Pope, and we need someone else to shine the light to show us the way, like the Hermit or something, here's the lantern, here's the way, hey, you guys over here, or go to the light, you see the light at the end of the tunnel, that kind of thing, there could be a light at the end of the tunnel shined for you in some way, I mean, I feel like with the 7 of Pentacles and the Hierophant together in your blessing roll, the 7 of Pentacles and this partial mini harvest is going to somehow show you the way. It's going to point the way. I just get this feeling of like in that old movie, The Labyrinth, where the girl was trying to navigate her way to the castle of the Goblin King, and this little guy would pop up from underneath the pavers and say, "Don't go that way," and she'd be like, "Oh, okay," and then she would just go a different way, and then he would say, "Good thing she didn't go that way, otherwise she'd have gone straight to that castle," so it's like being misguided too. So I just really feel like for a lot of you beautiful Scorpios, you don't need other people to tell you. And you know the way, you're being shown the way. That's a very specific message, but that's what I'm getting for you, okay? And then for your advice cards, you have the Hermit, which we talked about, right? Like, look for the light and shine your light. And then you have 7 of Swords and Temperance. The Hermit in the 7 of Swords says, don't allow imposter syndrome to limit you. Show yourself, show your work, stand up tall, stand above others, shine your light, let them see. So with the Hierophant, like this tells me, you are showing the way. You know the way, okay? The Hermit is very, very wise energy, and this is mature energy as well. In some ways, you have matured, and you've become really good at something where other people can look to you for guidance. And with the 7 of Swords, you may not realize that. You may not think you're ready. You may feel inadequate. There's just not seeing yourself clearly at all with the 7 of Swords, like here, you may be feeling like a joker, like a clown, but you're not. Not at all. You are deadly with these swords, Also, there's this energy of like not taking things so seriously. Stand up here on the roof. Allow yourself to be seen. Take the stage and distribute the candy to the masses. Give them what they need. Show them what they need, right? Or even what they will enjoy. Candy is to be enjoyed. Like you're blessing the world with whatever it is that you're sharing, right? It's making the world a better place. So don't doubt yourself anymore. Now, I'm not saying that you're all doubting yourself, but that's a real solid message. So, take it as it resonates. And then you have Temperance. And Temperance is really, really good here. Temperance says that it's going to take a while for something to grow. So be patient, right? And this mini harvest that you got is just a taste of what is to come. So don't dig it all up. Don't try to cash in on everything right now. With the Temperance, it's saying like, you're creating another element. And I talked about inner alchemy. This is inner alchemy. You're creating a new element by blending your gold and silver. How long is that going to take? It's not going to happen overnight, right? You've been working on it for a while. Continue working on it and trust the process. You do your part and Spirit does its part. When we're growing our harvest, we plant the seeds, right? And maybe we feed them with fertilizer, that kind of thing. And then we have to trust that Spirit is going to rain and bring sun. There's some things we don't have any control of. So allow Spirit to co-create with you and to do their part as well. All right. What else do we have for beautiful Scorpio? Thank you. All right, you have Skull of Stars and Skull of Light. All right, Skull of Stars is infinite possibilities, and Skull of Light is illumination. But the skulls remind me of your crown chakra, right? So this is like you realizing who you are, realizing the infinite possibilities behind your ideas, perhaps, or what or what you can share, as the hermit, and as the Hierophant. Like these are two very, very wise, spiritually wise energies, right? But infinite possibilities, don't limit yourself. Trust that whatever your intentions are, that they're not too large for spirit to, and look at this, mummy, change. Change. You are changing, things are changing. And remember, we had this mummy energy here. Take off the bandage, take off the mask, be yourself, show your truth, speak your truth, right? You are becoming the phoenix, right? So I love that for you, beautiful Scorpio. That's powerful. What else do we have for Scorpio? Thank you, Spirit. Wolf. Devour the ferocious calling within the howling of your spirit. Run wildly into the freedom of your knowing. Whoa. So free your wild self. Howl at the moon. Open your throat chakra. Trust that on an instinctive level, on your deepest level, that you are one with spirit. You're a divine creature. And what you have to say is powerful. Let your voice carry. Let your footprints be seen. Let your footsteps be felt. Power in beautiful Scorpio this month. So thank you so much for being here, beautiful Scorpio. Thank you for being you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.